Greetings, everyone. This is Danny from WhyteStar and boy, am I excited. This is something I did not see coming from Royal Caribbean. Did not think they were going to do this. So really excited to share with you some information on their full world cruise. So what we're going to do here today, first off, this is the first world cruise that Royal Caribbean has ever done. Bright lights, big city. There we go. First world cruise that Royal Caribbean has ever done. It's the longest world cruise that you find in the industry. It's even longer than Viking's 270-day. And then keep in mind, you can also do this as segments. Big caveat here, if it doesn't sell out. So before we dig into all the details here, make sure that you do us a huge favor, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, like the video, and then of course comment down below. Means the world to us. But what this is all about is we are your travel advisor. We've actually already had 2 bookings this morning so far for the World Cruise. We're incredibly excited for it, as you can expect. We're here to guide you through the process, assist every single step of the way. And of course, for a cruise like this, you always want to book with a travel advisor. We hope you choose us, but wherever you choose to book with, make sure you use a travel advisor who understands the ins and outs of a cruise like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here real quick with the Royal Caribbean site. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a brief overview, talk a little bit about the inclusions, and then I'm going to dig deep into the itinerary. Once again, the most epic world cruise ever, 274 nights. Taylor, what are you doing in 2024? You got 9 months for a world cruise? What do you think? Let's do it. I mean, I'm tempted. We were just on the Serenade of the Seas. In fact, those videos should be coming out here in the coming week or so. And we filmed the ship. And when we were on there, I kept telling Taylor over and over again, I almost forgot how much I love this class of ship. And to me, this is one of the bigger ships in the world doing a world cruise. So you get all those amazing Royal Caribbean amenities. Well, you even have a pool table with a gyro on there. So lots of really cool features on the Serenade. I'll talk about that as we dig in a little bit later here. But once again, an overview, inclusions, a deep dive, and then I'm here to answer your questions. So see, we've got some friends here already. Really excited for that. We'll get to all those here in just a minute. All right, so let's look at the Ultimate World Cruise. As I mentioned, 274 nights. You're going to leave in December of 2023. You're going to celebrate, well, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, 4th of July. I mean, all these holidays are going to be celebrated here on board. And like I mentioned, it's on the Serenade of the Seas. I love the Radiance class ships. When they were built, they had more glass than any other cruise ship ever built. They have some fantastic spaces, the biggest schooner bar in the Royal Caribbean fleet. You better bet if I'm on this cruise, I'm going to be singing all 274 nights. I think they'd get Matt Yee on there. That'd be pretty awesome. I love that. All right, well, let's see. So 274 nights bonding with like-minded explorers. One of the things that I love about World Cruises is there's unique events that they're going to do. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's really about bonding with other people. My longest cruise to date, it was actually about a 90-day trip. And I met some amazing people that I still call my friends to this day. Some came to my wedding. We created what we call our cruise family. You're going to do that as well. You're going to, people want to travel this way. You're going to have like-minded travelers that are out there to explore the world. So 65 countries, 11 wonders of the world. So let's do a little bit of a dive into here. So there's the 7 new wonders of the world. And these are going to go, this cruise is going to hit every single one of them. Now, I talked about it a second ago. I'll dig further in later. You can do this as segments. That's going to go on sale in another month or so, but only if they don't sell out in the meantime. So that would be 4 separate segments that you can kind of chunk down. One other really interesting thing that I heard on the chat today from Royal was if the countries allow it and you need to, you could possibly step off the cruise for a few days and come back. Maybe you're celebrating, a family birthday or, something big where you need to head back. The other thing too is with the included Voom internet, this could be an incredible remote work opportunity as well. All right, so Great Wall of China. To me, what this is all about is it's about making memories that last a lifetime. It's about visiting places that would frankly be much more expensive to do a la carte, all individually and separately, flying in, transportation, all of that kind of thing. And for me, I've done some of these with my dad. We did some incredible trips a couple of years ago when he retired from teaching as a teacher, basketball coach. He was always going 365 days a year. So once he slowed down a little bit, we got to travel. One of my favorite memories was the Great Wall of China. In fact, we walked along this stretch here. It was phenomenal. And of course, this is an ancient wonder of the world and a modern, and one of the few things that you can see from outer space. Another one that I adore is Iguazu Falls. This was one of my favorite. In fact, it makes me super sentimental. So I did a trip with my dad when he retired from teaching. He called it, well, he kept telling everybody he was graduating. So he was a freshman when he had 4 years left, and then sophomore when he had 3 years left. But our first trip together was South America, and we went for 6 weeks. We flew to Rio. We got to watch some of the World Cup from Rio, which was awesome. We dug down, but one of my favorite things that we did was Iguazu Falls. And now I was supposed to go to Iguazu Falls with my grandparents a couple years before this. Unfortunately, my grandfather was ill, ended up passing away, and we missed that trip together. We went on so many others. In fact, I talked about one of our trips to Hawaii on our live stream on Friday. So sorry if I get a little bit emotional here. But one of the things that happened, that close there. One of the things that happened that what was a little bit life-changing for me is, we went to explore Iguazu Falls. My grandmother had been ill for a couple months now. She told me to take this trip with my dad. She said, unequivocally, don't stay here with me. Go with your dad, go explore, go check it out. And I'll never forget the first day when we were on that trip, we were sitting in a coffee shop, and my dad's feedback to me was, I never thought every day I woke up, I had the same routine. He was a math teacher, basketball coach. Never thought about what somebody was doing in Buenos Aires, and sitting at that coffee shop, taking a minute to travel, to really dig in, to look at new things, to experience new things. It was just this great connection that we had. And so when we got to Iguazu Falls, I had called my mom the day before and spoken with my grandma as well. And, when I took a helicopter tour, and I went up over the falls. Unbelievable. 200 waterfalls. You can go from the Argentinian side, the Brazilian side, 2 completely different views. You can take a boat up into the falls. I recommend it. But when I was on that helicopter ride, I had a little bit of an emotional feel. There was just something that was going on. And when we landed, I got back to the hotel. My mom had called and said that my grandma had passed away. And it was one of those things where, it was very emotional for me. It was tough, but it was also a beautiful thing. We kind of got to do that trip that, my grandma and grandpa always wanted to go to Iguazu Falls, weren't able to make it. I mean, they went to, 70, 80 countries. They traveled extensively. But this is why, in my mind, you do a trip like this. This is why you basically put the money down and decide, I want to have these memories that last a lifetime. I want to share them with my family, share them with my spouse, my partner, my friends, whoever it is. But when I see a picture like this, it just brings those memories back to me. So let's keep digging here. Sorry, before I get a little bit too nostalgic. Petra, an unbelievable site in Jordan. You'll have the ability to go there. Now, this is part of the 7 modern wonders of the world that were voted on. But Petra is incredible. Machu Picchu, that's another one of those sites. I did a South America trip with my cousin for about a month. We went down and spent a month in Peru, hiking up to Machu Picchu. We actually did the Laris trek. This is one of those stops, by the way, where you have an overnight. So an incredible way to get up to Cusco, all the way to Ollantaytambo, explore Machu Picchu, and then you can head back down and continue on the trek. But we loved it. There's an emotional, spiritual connection that you'll find here at Machu Picchu. And then, of course, if you're brave and tough, you can climb Huayna Picchu right here as well. Another, on that same trip I took with my dad, we got to visit Rio de Janeiro. So we actually started in Buenos Aires. We went over to Chile, all the way around the tip of South America. You'll be doing that on this cruise. And when we were in Rio, we went up and have a great picture in front of Christ the Redeemer. And then Sugarloaf Mountain, and of course the most famous beach in the world, Copacabana. And being he's a little bit old school, we had to go eat at the Garuta de Ipanema cafe. This is the cafe where the gentleman who wrote the girl from Ipanema, the famous song, I think, let's see, Frank Sinatra sang. I think it was Frank Sinatra. My dad will kill me now for that. But there, lots of famous people have sung that song. But we actually went to the cafe that's right there near Copacabana Beach. Once again, all these wonderful memories come flooding back. You'll also get to do the Great Pyramid of Giza, one of those wonders of the world as well. So you do Jordan and Egypt. And then Chichen Itza, so that's in Mexico. You can go visit the complex of Mayan ruins. Ephesus, if you have not been to Ephesus, I highly recommend it, especially if you want to dig into the history there. It's where Paul wrote the letter to the Ephesians. There's a ton of biblical history that's happening there. It's an incredibly well-preserved city. This is not this is one of the ancient wonders of the world that's pretty much gone now, but the walled city of Ephesus is incredible. And I highly recommend you check that out in Turkey. We loved our time in Turkey. And oddly enough, Ephesus is a bit of a party city, the actual port of Kusadasi, just outside of Ephesus. So had an accidental overnight there once. We had a little bit too much wind at the island we were going to before, so we overnighted there. And yeah, it was eye-opening. It was really cool. The Colosseum, of course. You'll stop in Rome when you get to the European section. Taj Mahal, what an incredible tribute to love. Of course, the Sultan, I'll get that wrong, but it's a tribute to his wife. You've got the Great Barrier Reef that is the largest barrier reef system in the entire world. You can do some snorkeling, some diving, have some extended periods of time there. Also check out the rainforest. So those are some of the wonders of the world, and we barely just scratched the surface. So really, really excited to share all of this information with you.
Talk about the excursion inclusion.
Okay, so I'm going to dig deeper in just a second. Just want to give you a quick overview. If this does get to where they sell segments, and I believe it will for some categories, you've got 4 separate segments. So South America, that goes all the way around the Horn. You've got Asia and the Pacific, Middle East, and then you've got capitals of culture, which is mostly Europe. One of the really cool things is visiting the 7 wonders. If you are a platinum member or higher, so once again, platinum member or higher, you're going to get a complimentary 7 excursion package that's included for you. And it's the 7 new wonders of the world. So the 7 modern wonders of the world, those will all be included for you just as a thank you for being one of the higher tiers of the Crown and Anchor Society. Of course, you're still going to get all of your discounts. You're going to get all your perks on board. So how about this, Taylor? You're a diamond member. You get your 5 or 4 drinks, but it doesn't matter because the beverage package is included anyways. There you go. Got excited. Okay. So venture across through the different continents. I'm going to scroll down here really quick. I'll come back to this. Just talk a little bit about the inclusion. So this is the full world cruise inclusions. Business class air from your home to the ship. Premium transportation. So that's a car and driver service taking you between the airport, the hotel, and the ship. You're going to have 2 pre-nights complimentary at the Intercontinental in Miami, along with a huge gala to celebrate the kickoff of Royal's first ever world cruise. You're going to get the deluxe beverage package. We actually had a comment on our video earlier. People were asking about, they don't have laundry rooms on Royal like they do on a lot of ships that have the world cruise. So they're going to wash and fold it for you. That may be my favorite perk of all these. I don't know. Gin and tonic while you do my laundry. I think I'm in. Prepaid gratuities and Voom internet. So basically most of the things that you would need, that you would want for a cruise like this, it's all going to be included for you. Okay. And then for pricing, let's talk a little bit about that. Let me go here.
It's in a drop down. Okay.
Starting price. There we go. Okay, so these are the starting prices. We have the other prices for above that. It's basically, there's 2 options. You can make the deposit, and then you can make the final payment closer in. So I think like July of 2023, or you can pay it off 6 months early and get a 10% discount. So if you pay in full by January 6th, you're going to get 10% off. So with that, you're talking about $55,000 per person. I'm going to round up. You're going to add about $5,000 in port charges. So $60,000 per person. $60,000 per person on a lead-in rate on this cruise. Go here. So if you break that down, you're looking at about $220 per person per day. So that's your room, unlimited drinks, gratuities. It's all of those things that we just talked about. So if you want to think of it that way, you can stay in a 3-star hotel in downtown New York with no food and no inclusions and staying in New York, or you can go on a world cruise. So just being a little funny here today. There we go. $4,000 more for an ocean view stateroom. I do that in a heartbeat. Balcony, $71. Junior suite, you're starting at about $100,000 per person. So about $105,000 per person. And just in case you're interested, Grand Suite is looking at about what is that? About 160,000 per person. But then you also get all of those suite amenities: the suite lounge, sun deck, concierge, all of those extra amenities as well. But we can dig into all those prices for you.
Crown and anchor points.
And the other fun one too is Crown and Anchor points. Of course, one of the unique things about this cruise, because it's so long, if you hit a tier milestone on the cruise, you actually start using those benefits the same day. So if you move over to Pinnacle, voila, the Suite Lounge opens up for you. If you move up to Diamond Plus, Diamond, those kind of things as well. So just keep that in mind. If you want to move over, this could be the ultimate way of moving over on a Crown and Anchor tier. All right. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into the locations that they're going to visit. So once again, we've got the inclusions of the full world cruise. We're going to do a little bit more on this later with the segments, depending on which segments are available and how that works. And of course, if there's any segments, there's going to be multiple segments because that's the way it works when you tie all those things together. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning here once again. Okay, so round the horn, Americas and Antarctica. So you can see what that looks like here on the map. You're going to start in Miami. You're going to go all the way around. You're going to head to Antarctica. So you're going to see seventh continent right there as well. And you're going to head back up, and maybe I'll stop by and say hi to you when you're in LA. So this is the very first segment here. So this is a 3-continent around the horn, 36 destinations, 64 nights. Let's look at that here. Okay, so this is the first expedition. You're going to start out in Miami, and then the most exclusive stop of the whole trip, Coco Cay. There we go. So do the water slides, get all pumped up, and start cruising. So Chichen Itza, you'll be visiting there. Cozumel, Mexico, you'll be able to head over to Chichen Itza. Once again, that will be included for those platinum and above. Then you do a classic ABC Southern Caribbean itinerary, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. So you get to experience a little bit of the tropics and some beautiful, beautiful Dutch islands there. Bridgetown, Barbados, St. George's, Grenada. And then you're going to head further south. You're going to go to French Guiana, then cruise a couple more days at sea. So Christmas will be at sea. Was it Fortaleza, Brazil? Head a little further south, Recife. And then you get to Rio de Janeiro. And look where you are for New Year's Eve. What do you think about that? Overnight in port, watching all of the fireworks from Copacabana Beach while on the beautiful Serenade of the Seas. So you've got 2 full days there. I think I need to look. I want to say there's 14 or 15 overnights on this where you dock, you spend the full night there and get to experience even more.
That one's special because they actually float out.
Okay, yeah. So you're going to leave the pier for the fireworks show. They do it over Sugarloaf Mountain and Christ the Redeemer. It's an incredible, incredible thing. So what a great way to ring in 2024. And then you head further south, Montevideo, Uruguay. You're going to have Iguazu Falls. So this is another overnight in Buenos Aires. You fly up to Iguazu. Incredible. One of my favorite places I've ever visited in my entire life. I talked a little bit about that earlier. And then, of course, you have some time to spend in Buenos Aires as well. You're heading further south, so Puerto Madryn, Argentina. Then someplace you almost never get on a cruise that's not a true expedition, and that is Port Stanley in the Falkland Islands. So you get to check out the Falkland Islands. And then you head further south to Antarctica. So you're going to do a cruising through Antarctica. You'll see Dalan Bay, Paradise Bay, Elephant Island there, and then head further up. So then you'll head up Cape Horn, Chile to Ushuaia, overnight there. Punta Arenas, really, really love that. Spent some time there with my dad on that trip I was talking about earlier. Straits of Magellan. You can be Magellan like Magellan. There we go. The fjords of Chile. Now, a lot of people think of the Alaskan fjords, the Norwegian fjords, and bypass the fjords of Chile. Their lake district, their fjords are incredible, unbelievably beautiful scenery. So you'll be able to experience that. Valparaiso, Chile, an incredibly beautiful, colorful city. On that same trip, we actually drove from Santiago to Valparaiso, did some wine tasting back and forth there. La Serena, Arica, Chile, and then you start heading up into Peru. So I think there might be an excursion into the Atacama Desert. Not 100% sure there. Pisco. So if you want to learn how to make a Pisco sour, one of the famous drinks there, and of course, it's the name of the city and the alcohol as well. I love those combinations, but you can visit there. Overnighting in Lima, so you can head up to Machu Picchu. That's something that you really really, really want to visit. I promise you. You won't regret it. And then get some unbelievable ceviche in Lima. And then you're going to continue to head north. So you've got Monza, Ecuador, up to Punta Arenas, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and then now you're kind of in that classic Mexican Riviera, Cabo San Lucas, Ensenada, and then my hometown, or close to my hometown, LA. So that is your first expedition. So once again, if you decide you want to do that, just that cruise, that's an epic cruise in and of itself. If it's available in December, it probably will be. I just don't know what cabins and which specific suites and staterooms will be available. But if it's available, you can book that as one segment. Let's move on to the second segment here, the wonders of Asia and the Pacific. So you're going to start out in Los Angeles, the city of angels. All right, Dodgers came back. I'm just saying, it's 2-1. 2-1. We got a shot here. Cruising across to Hawaii. So you've got Maui, you've got the Big Island and Oahu. Several more days of cruising, and then you head to French Polynesia, to beautiful Moorea, and then Papeete. You can jump off there for some more excursions in and around, some more days at sea, and then you get to Auckland, New Zealand. Next stop is Bay of Islands. That is an incredible place, because usually when you go to the Bay of Islands, you take a boat excursion anyway. So that's great that you have the option to do that on the ship. Then you're going to go to Sydney, Newcastle, Brizzy. So you can see you're heading north up the coast of Australia, Airlie Beach in Australia, and then the Great Barrier Reef. You can spend, they're going to spend a little bit of time there. Once again, you can go snorkeling, scuba, explore it. Maybe you want to take a helicopter ride and go from above. So you can check that out. One of those wonders of the world that's been, I mean, the Great Barrier Reef has had some issues over the last couple of years. And so this may be a time to see it in a way that may not be in the future, unfortunately. So you're working your way up the coast of Australia. Then you get to Indonesia. So you've got Lombok, Indonesia, Bali. Always wanted to go to Bali. Have not had a chance to get there yet. Then the Philippines. So you've got a couple stops there, Manila and then Subic Bay. Heading further to the east, you're going to head to Hong Kong. So you can see another one of those overnights in Hong Kong. You got to check out the night markets and have some incredible food there. That was another, I talked about one of my trips with my dad before. We also did a 5-week trip to Asia where we did 3 weeks, it was 2 weeks, I think, exploring China. And then we went to Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and then finished in Hong Kong before we went home. So another awesome trip, great memories. And you go across the Taiwan Straits to Taipei. You head to Japan. So you've got 2 stops in Japan. There's Ishigaki and Okinawa. And then to South Korea. So Busan, South Korea. So you can get to Seoul from there if you like. A wonderful, wonderful treat is Jeju Island. It's kind of the Hawaii of Korea, if you will, if you want to put kind of a tropical paradise on there. Seoul, South Korea is next. Then a day at sea, and you're going to have overnight in Beijing. So you have that opportunity to go explore the Great Wall of China. I don't know if they're going to have a excursion that heads into Xi'an. If they don't, I really, really hope that they do give that opportunity. That was one of my favorite parts. I went for the Terracotta Warriors. I fell in love with the city itself. So after that, after the overnight in Beijing, you head back and do more of Japan. So Nagasaki, Kagoshima, overnight in Tokyo. So you can dig in deeper. Mount Fuji and Osaka. So a really deep dive into Japan. That's one of those destinations that's really, really expensive. So visiting on a cruise like this may actually be a big money saver for you. Okay. Couple days at sea, heading further south now to Nha Trang, Vietnam. So this is a beach resort city. Then Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam as well. We really, really enjoyed our time there. A couple of the incredible museums, the water puppet show, the Mekong Delta, lots of fun things to do, lots of unique things to do there. All right. Then you head to the pristine city-state, the island of Singapore. They're opening up to U.S. travelers here in just a few days, so pretty excited for that. The melting pot of the Asian world, Malaysia. So you can go to Kuala Lumpur. You can see the towers there. They used to be the highest building in the world. I think that was on, what was Mission Impossible or one of those. They're jumping off there.
Uh-huh.
Penang, Malaysia, I can eat Penang curry and then have some more curry and then maybe have some more curry. But, Malaysia has, and Singapore too, unbelievable food scene. Now you're heading further east. Once again, locations you may not visit otherwise. You've got 2 stops in Sri Lanka and then Cochin, India, where you'll be able to check out the Taj Mahal. a unique experience that I highly recommend. Goa, so you can see the beach resort town of Goa, and then overnight in Mumbai. So much to see there, so much culture, but I'm going for the food. I'm not going to lie. Give me the food. Love me some Indian food. Okay. And then you're going to continue cruising east. So you do Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, once again in the Emirates as well. You go to the tallest building in the world, is Burj Khalifa, I think there.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the second expedition. So you can see that maybe, once again, if you want to just do that, you could do LA and finish up in Dubai. That seems like a pretty awesome put together as well.
We're only in May.
Yeah, we're only in May. So we're almost to the halfway point. That just tells you what we're talking about here with this amazing world cruise. All right, so next up is going to be medieval treasures and marvels of the Mediterranean. So I mentioned the other cruise ends in Dubai. Once again, if you're on the full world, you're just going to keep going. So you've got another day in Dubai. You've got Oman, a couple more days at sea, and then you're going to dock in Jordan. So you'll be able to head over to check out Petra, one of the modern wonders of the world. You'll head across to Safaga, Egypt. This is where you can explore a little bit of the Red Sea region. Really, really incredible diving and snorkeling there, and just a beautiful resort city. Then you're going to head to Alexandria. Alexandria, you're going to overnight there, jumping off point for Egypt. I'm guessing they're going to have even more in depth than just the pyramids. I'm hoping they do like Abu Simbel or Luxor or one of those as an add-on. But of course, we're still 3 years off. We haven't seen the excursions yet. And then once again, continuing on, you're going to overnight in Ashdod, Israel, where you can go and spend the night in Jerusalem, dig in. Jerusalem at night, there's just something incredible, very, very special there. But you get a little more digging into the Holy Land. Then Limassol, Cyprus, lots of biblical history, lots of ancient history as well. Overnight in Athens, I love that. There's so many things to do. My favorite thing in the whole wide world may just be wandering through the Plaka at night with some foods. There. Let's see. All right. Go. And let's see here. Next up is Kusadasi, where you'll visit Ephesus. That's where you can see the, once again, it's where Paul wrote the letter to the Ephesians. It's also where the house of Mary. What else is there? There's ancient wonder of the world. And then I would say Ephesus is a modern wonder of the world as well. Then you head into the Black Sea. Once again, some regions you may not explore by land. Bulgaria, Romania, overnight in Odessa, Ukraine, another beautiful city. Continuing back out, you're going to do Trabzon, Turkey, a little bit further in the south, head north to Istanbul. This is the crossroads of the world. It's an incredible city there. It used to be called Constantinople. It was actually, the Roman Empire moved from Rome to Istanbul, or to Constantinople as it was called at the time. And it was actually in existence for 1,000 years, more than 1,000 years after the Western Roman Empire fell. So the Eastern Roman Empire didn't fall until, I think it was 1452, with when they were invaded and finally took over there. All right, so then we're going to head back in and dig deep into Greece, Thessaloniki, Greece, Chios, Bodrum. Bodrum was one of my favorite stops that I did a couple years ago on an Azamara cruise. I think it's got a really famous amphitheater and one of the ancient wonders of the world there. I'm gonna have to try to think about what that was, but it also has some really, really cool Crusader castles. It was one of those stopping off points heading to the Holy Land. When they were going back and forth and battling. Then you get Rhodes, Greece, Mykonos, very, very famous for its windmills and beaches. Santorini for its caldera. You can see the picture there. And its cliffs and the black sand beaches. Then you go to Crete. Olympia for, so you go to Katakolon. So Katakolon is it was one of my favorite stops. We spent a couple nights there. Maybe it was just one night. Awesome trip that we took. But you go to Olympia, which is the site of the first Olympics. So the very, 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 very first Olympics. You can see this is also where they, here. It's also where they are, let's see here. They start the modern Olympics, so it's where they light the Olympic flame each and every time they start it off there. They actually use a mirror, so it's lit in the same spot as it was in ancient times, and then they start the trek around the world. Okay, so next up, Corfu, Greece, Bari, Italy, overnight in Venice. It's a city that definitely is well served with an overnight. Trieste, Italy, further north, Slovenia, Koper is beautiful. Zadar, Croatia, Split, Croatia, Dubrovnik, Those of you Game of Thrones fans can dig into some of the scenery there. Dubrovnik, to me, is the best preserved medieval walled city in the world. It is spectacular. When you go, walk the walls and then walk it at night again, because it's just that spectacular. Montenegro, that port itself, it's one of the most beautiful sailing ins and outs. It's gorgeous. Valletta, Malta, you can dig deeper into the let's see here. All right. Oh, dang it. All right. Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's finish this up here. I apologize. Valletta, Malta, Catania, Sicily, Naples, the Colosseum in Rome, Florence and Pisa, in Portofino, Corsica, Cannes, Nice, Provence, Palma de Mallorca, Barcelona, Spain. So that's pretty incredible there. Capitals of culture. This is going to be the 4th expedition. So you have once again another shot for the expedition there. This is going to be digging a little bit deeper even then. So Barcelona, Spain, Valencia, Spain, Cartagena, Spain, Malaga, Spain, Casablanca, Morocco, Agadir, Morocco as well. So you get to basically, you do the coast of Spain and then you head down to Northern Africa, Lisbon, Portugal, Porto, absolutely amazing and incredible wine as well too, Portugal, Vigo, Spain, Cork, Ireland, Cherbourg, France, Le Havre. So we overnight there so you can go into Paris itself. You're going to have a great time. You can also check out Normandy, Southampton, England, Bruges, Belgium, Skagen, Denmark. So now we're heading up to the north. Varmeren, you can take the overland route via train in Germany. Tallinn, Estonia. I loved our stop in Tallinn. We had an incredible time there. St. Petersburg, Russia, overnight. Helsinki, Finland. Stockholm, Sweden. Visby Island, Sweden. Another beautiful, little place there. Lithuania. Then you head back into Denmark, Kiel, Germany, Copenhagen, Aarhus, Denmark. You're heading further north. The sail into Oslo, Norway is out of this world. It's really quite incredible. You go here and then go back. All right. And then Christian said Norway, Haugesund, Norway, Olden, Norway, Ålesund, Norway, and Bergen. So you're going to be able to do all of these incredible fjords. The sail in and out is spectacular. The little villages, the towns, the cities, absolutely spectacular as well. This may be my favorite segment of the cruise. I mean, I love it anyways, but getting to go all of those incredible locations in Norway, you're going to have a week of spectacular. Amsterdam, Reykjavik. So now you cross over to Iceland, overnight in Reykjavik, head to Greenland. Once again, another location that you may never visit there as well, overland, or even with a cruise. There's not that many cruises that go to Greenland. So you've got a couple great stops there, Newfoundland, and then, hey, we finally made it to September. All right, there we go. Heading down, overnight in New York City. Of course, it's a city that an overnight works well with. Bermuda, so you're going to head out to Bermuda, cap it off with, yet again, another stop at Perfect Day Coco
Start
Cay.
and end.
And so you'll start it in, you'll book into the Perfect Day, and then Miami, Florida. So there you go. I don't know what you guys think, but that's a pretty epic world cruise voyage as we work all the way around the world, 274 nights. So once again, business class air included, premium transportation to and from the port, ship, and hotel, pre-cruise hotel and gala, 7 new wonders of the world shore excursion, deluxe beverage package, wash and fold laundry service, gratuities, and boom internet. So all of that is going to be included for you.
Do we know if that's included in the segments?
We're not 100% sure on the segments. I don't think all of that will be included on the segments, but we're going to see what is. So yeah, we'll dig into that a little bit deeper. So I need to take the share off here. Okay. All right. So